Okay, so we created our writing and our speaking tasks. Our trainees submitted their responses to our tasks, and now it's time for us to grade their tasks. Now, right now I'm in my dashboard, and the dashboard again is where I can see all of my courses. And if I look over into the upper right hand corner of my dashboard, I see that I have a to do list. And the first thing on my to do list is to grade a speaking task. And the second thing on my to-do list is to grade a writing task. And yes, these are the speaking and writing tasks that our trainee just submitted on responsibilities. So I can access these assignments in one of two ways. First, I can click here on, say, the writing task, and it's going to take me directly into what is called the speed grader. And if I'm looking at the speed grader on the left-hand side of my screen, I'm going to see the student's response. And on the right-hand side of my screen, I'm going to see the rubric where I can enter the scores. If I click there, view rubric. In the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to see which student I'm currently marking. And I should be able to arrow between all of my students. I can also click a drop down to see which students I have. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give the student a score for their writing response. And let's just say the student got a 3 on task completion, maybe 4s for grammar and vocabulary, and a 5 for mechanics. So I'm going to add that up quick. That's 7 plus 4 is 11 plus 5 is 16. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a 16 here. So why am I doubling the score? Well, when the student is looking at their gradebook later on, what they're going to see is that they received a 3 for task completion, a 4 for grammar and vocabulary, and a 5 for mechanics. But if I only had scores for these 4 criteria, they wouldn't see their performance reflected in their learning mastery gradebook. So that's why I've added this learning outcome here. And if I put in a 16 out of 20 here, that makes the total 32 out of 40, which is an 80%, the same as if I would have awarded the student just 16 out of 20. So this is allowing us to provide more information in their gradebook, as well as be able to link the learning mastery gradebook to this assignment. If I click save here, I see now that a 32 has been added here, and I can also see up here 32 out of 40, 80% was awarded to this student. And so if I wanted to, I could write the student some comments here. I could attach something that had some comments or feedback on it. I could record a video of myself talking to the student about why they received the score that they did. Or if I'm satisfied, I can just leave this and, well, actually, I'll go directly to the gradebook. And so you'll be able to see that a score has been entered for this test student in the gradebook here, writing responsibility task 32 out of 40. Okay. Now I'm going to go and access the speed grader another way. Here I'm back in my module. I'm going to load up the speaking task now. This one has yet to be marked. And if I'm looking at the assignment now over on the right hand side, I see 0 out of 1 submissions graded. That means I have to grade one of the submissions. And I'm going to do that by clicking here on Speed Grader. Same thing, I've got the recording now that the student made over on the left hand side and my speaking rubric over here on the right hand side. So I can go ahead and load up that recording. Record button. And now I'm going to begin recording myself talking about my responsibilities as a trainee at SESP. And when I'm done talking about my responsibilities, I'm going to... Okay, well, there you go. And so now I would go ahead and score that speaking sample. Maybe I want to give him a 5 out of 5 for accuracy, and maybe I want to give a 3 out of 5 for fluency. That's a total of 8. So what I'm going to do now here is give them a score for the learning outcome of speaking. But you notice this isn't out of 10, this is out of 20. So I actually have to double that 8. So I'm going to make this now 16 out of 20. I'm going to click Save. And so now we can see that the student has received a 24 out of 30, 24 out of 30, which is 80%, which is the same again if he had just received the 8 out of 10 points. Only by putting in a score here, we're linking this trainee's performance to the Learning Mastery gradebook. If I want to get out of the speed grader at this point, I could just close this tab. It brings me back to the assignments. I can go to the gradebook. And I should be able to find now the speaking task for the student. It's right there, 24 out of 30.